right, with this West 2 Facebook Live update, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tony Manolfi. Hope you guys are ready for the weekend. We've got a lot of ground to cover. We've got a few spotty showers out there tonight. We have the potential for some coastal beach erosion beginning as early as this weekend. And down in the tropics, we may have something developing and potentially heading our way, whether it be tropical or subtropical. The bottom line, we're going to have to watch the wind and the rain concerns, especially on the heels of Ian and all the high water levels still currently in play along the St. Johns River. So that and coastal beach erosion are going to be the two biggies for me as we get you through the next couple days. I'm going to break that down for everybody here beginning right now, and there's plenty of time to watch it. Just want to make sure nobody is caught by surprise or off guard, as we like to say. So there's the feature there. Right over San Juan, the northeastern Caribbean, that's going to drift back towards the north and then the northwest as we go through the course of the next 3 to 5 days. So it's broad non-tropical low right now, could become tropical, subtropical next week, depending upon how quickly it develops or moves. And there's a growing flood and beach erosion concern for Florida. That's erosion. Yeah, I'm have to watch that. Those concerns there for Central Florida. So let's take a look now. I'm going to break this down a couple of different ways for everybody, just to kind of give you a quick heads up. So there's a look in Monday. There's the feature in the southeast Bahamas. We're watching it. The rain, the combination of low and high across New England is really going to help get that breeze going along the coast and bring in that wind and bring in those showers and potential thunderstorms. So as the low approaches, the winds are going to pick on up, and that's what we're going to be watching very, very carefully. Lisa Michelle, no more please, I hear you. William Chamberlain, John Kiley, Marner Hendershot. Good to have each and every one of you in here. Hope you guys are all doing well. So that is a look at the European computer model. GFS is a little bit different, but I'm going to talk more about that here in a second. John Kiley, Marna, you're going to be okay by the 12th. There's the low, there's the developing high behind that front. The two will work in tandem, and the flow becomes centered towards our coast. Northeast winds really start gusting over the weekend and on into next week. So the headlines that we're watching, the track where the system will go determines how much effects we'll get. Intensity, for now, not expected to become strong, although the GFS model has been trending a little bit stronger. European has not. Impacts, again, are going to be the flooding and the coastal beach erosion concerns. Let me show you the side-by-side so you can see the GFS and the Euro side-by-side. John, it was a beautiful day today. You're absolutely right about that. There's a look now at the Euro and the GFS. Pretty good agreement early on here, but then as we start getting into Tuesday, the GFS is much quicker. The Euro is much quicker. The GFS is a little bit slower, but you can see both trending back towards Florida, whether it be Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. The GFS coming in a little bit later and with a little bit more gusto. Let me show you the rainfall comparison graphics here, and there's a look now at the Euro versus the GFS rainfall-wise. You can see either way, it's going to be inches of rain, and that is not what we want to hear, especially when we're talking about and dealing with, some already high river levels. Gregory Pop, yes, but again, it's the outlier for now. Nothing's even developed. So before you start jumping on that bandwagon, let's just be careful how we call that one out. Again, the Euro. It doesn't even have, just barely maybe has tropical storm gust at worst case scenario. And I'm going to walk you through that here in just a second. So that's a look at the rainfall comparison. And again, it's important to keep an eye on the trends on that because we're dealing with river levels that, yes, they've come down, but they're still high. So again, the minor flood stage, St. John's near Sanford. At Lake Harney, moderate flood stage there. It's only slowly falling. You dump 2 to 3 inches on that, and that would be a big time problem. There's at Astor, and then there's at the land. Again, moderate flood stage for the time being right there. Sally Helmick has popped in. Good to have you there. Juanita Jimenez. Yeah, I hear Yukon Capo Greco has popped in. There's a look at Terry. Yep, Terry's in. Nathan Bowers up there in Ocala. Seabears, Garcia. Jerry, good to have you there. Sally, always a pleasure to have you. I haven't been on the feed in a while. It's okay, Yukon. We still love you, baby. Laura McQuilkin has popped in. Good to have you there. So yes. So that's the river level's high. All right, now let me compare and contrast the wind. One of the other elements we have to watch, obviously, is the wind profiles, and there is a big difference. The Euro is considerably weaker and much quicker with the tropical storm force gusts there. So that would be one thing that we'd be watching there. And then you look at the GFS. Again, much stronger, coming in as potentially a hurricane. So something else to watch down the road. Am I in that camp for a hurricane? No, not as of right now. I am not. Let's do this. Here's a look at the Euro gusts. So there's the Euro. 35, 40. 45-mile-an-hour winds. Tuesday and Wednesday would be the worst of it with the Euro. The GFS looking like this. GFS is a little bit slower. There's the center of circulation over the warmer waters a little bit longer, allowing for it to get a little bit stronger. You can see an eye forming there. Melbourne, Orlando. You see the winds, 60, 70 miles an hour potentially. So just something to watch. Do I believe the GFS right now? No. Am I watching the trends? You betcha I am. The bottom line, either way, here's the deal. I mean, we've got some water that's going to be headed right at our coast. We're going east to west. That is the potential for some significant coastal beach erosion. I can't make that any clearer there. And that for me, for now, is the biggie. That's one of the things we're going to be watching. There it is. You can see 11 to 13-foot waves, beach erosion, coastal flooding. When we break it down, the early call, worst weather Tuesday to Thursday, winds 25 to 40 sustained, potential gust as of now 40 to 55. So we're kind of in between the Euro and the GFS. Now again, this is going to change. I cannot stress that enough. Right now, it looks like the heaviest rain would be across the southern areas down towards Brevard County, with lighter amounts of rain up towards the north. Coastal beach erosion, flood risk is the two biggies for me. Up and down the coast, from Palm Coast to east of Palm Bay. Now the wave action, I do want to get back to this. This is just insane. Tuesday, Wednesday, offshore seas 11 to 13 could be conservative again if the GFS is correct. So a lot to watch here. A lot we're going to be changing and updating here all weekend long. Here's a look now at Election Day forecast. If you can early vote this weekend, I would encourage you to do so with that sloppy weather that's going to be headed our way. Windy, wet. So that's that there for you. So again, 7-day forecast. The showers that are coming this weekend, not a byproduct of that next feature that we'll be developing. However, you start getting into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday there. We are going to be tracking the tropics. Either a hybrid system or a tropical system may be in the works here. And that's going to be the concern here. We don't want you guys to let your guard down, think it's the weekend, not pay attention to things. So that's that for me is going to be the one thing that we need to just kind of babysit and keep a close eye on. Again, that little feature there now being given a 50% chance of potentially developing as we head into late this weekend and or early next week. Late this weekend and or early next week. So it's a non-tropical low pressure expected to develop across the northeastern Caribbean and then flip over on the northern side there of Hispaniola. At first, it's obviously going to be broad and disorganized. Then it may start to, again, acquire some sort of subtropical or tropical characteristics as it mills about in the warm waters over there in the Bahamas. So that's what we're going to be watching. Out ahead of it, we have this low and high combo, this tandem, that's going to initiate the coastal beach erosion this weekend because of a strong high and that low there. And then as that low gets stronger, we get the coastal beach erosion just from the developing low itself. So it's kind of a 1-2 punch wind machine that's going to be headed our way. So yeah, that's how we're breaking this one down. All right, one more time. Here's a look now. There's the low, breezy if not windy weather coming our way as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and even on into Thursday. So that's, again, some of the things that we are going to be watching here over the coming days as we try to hone in on what may or may not be coming our way. So just an FYI on that. When I compare them, again, the GFS is a little bit slower to arrive, mills out over that warmer water a little while longer, whereas the Euro is much quicker, heads over land, and then heads into the Gulf of Mexico. So that's one of the things that we're going to be watching for everybody going forward. Maria Baldridge, Brian Bedore, Yukon Capo Greco, Vicky Hill. Maria, we got you. No doubt about that. Don't you worry about that. We've got you covered. So there's your rainfall comparison as of right now. Rainfall comparison as of right now. The wind comparison. Let's do this. Again, the GFS is a little bit slower with its wind field getting here, but once it gets here, it's a little bit stronger. So the Euro has a good punch of wind on Tuesday and the first half of Wednesday, whereas the GFS has a big punch of wind coming in literally on Thursday and Friday. So it's a few days later. Now, either way, we are going to get some coastal beach erosion. There's no doubt about that. This is just going to be a couple-day event, and you got all of that energy coming right towards the coast. That for me is going to be huge. It's going to be big. That's going to be my biggest concern. And I'm not sure if you saw my Twitter feed, but Volusia County has an emergency advisory issued for coastal beach erosion. Beachfront structures that were impacted by Ian. So there you go. Just something to be aware of right there. For now, here's a look at the coastal storm impacts for Brevard, Volusia, and Flagler. I'm not doing the inland areas yet. But the reason why I'm doing the coast is I'm worried about this erosion and watching that flood risk there on the heels of what happened with Ian from the St. John's along the Brevard, Osceola, Orange County line, and then the beating the coast took from the storm itself. So two-pronged there. If I were to give you an early line on storm impacts, it might go something like this. Again, this is subject to change as well. Coastal flooding, I think, is high. Beach erosion is going to be high. Strong winds right now, I'm going to put in the medium range as we're still kind of figuring this one out. Inland flooding right now, still in the medium range. If the storm gets a little bit slower, per the GFS, we may bump that up. If the Euro's right, then I think we're okay. For now, the tornado threat is low. We'll have to wait and see how this strengthens. If it's stronger like the GFS, the tornado risk goes up. If it's weaker like the Euro, it will remain low. So a lot to watch, a lot to keep tabs on, and we'll do that for you all weekend long and of course, beginning next week. The wave action is just insane. If you missed this at the top here, again, I honestly believe this may be on the conservative side. Brian Bedore, they're the waters are in the upper 70s to near 80 off our Atlantic, off our beach side there, and warmer just to the south across the Bahamas. So yeah, they're warm. They're warm enough. There's no doubt about that. Aaron Craycraft, good to have you there. Vicky Hill, a pleasure to have you as well. Look at how the seas grow to 5 to 7 feet with near shore breakers 3 or 4. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it is up and away. Just coming in, what are we looking at? Crystal Atkins. We are looking at the potential here for an area of low pressure At first non-tropical. Then if it sit and stews over the Bahamas like the GFS is thinking, then it could take on some more tropical characteristics. Either way, whether it's tropical or non-tropical, the concern was clearly going to be for rain and coastal beach erosion. Those are the two biggies here. That's for me is what we're going to have to keep tabs and eyes on here as we go through the weekend and early next week. So a lot to watch, a lot to digest, and that's what we're going to continue to do for everybody. Gary, good to have you there. Terry Lonnie, good to have you there. Vicky Hill, I hope not. I hope not. Let's try to be optimistic here and hope that that does not transpire. Again, if you just missed it, the European computer model stays relatively weak and relatively disorganized. It's got tropical storm force winds on Tuesday and the first half of Wednesday. The GFS is slower, gives it more time to sit over those warmer waters, and it does get a bit stronger. In fact, you can see an eye taking shape and coming into potentially Brevard County if the GFS were to be correct. And we're going to watch the trends with some strong winds coming right over the central Florida peninsula while that storm then moves out to the open waters there in the northeastern Gulf Thursday evening. So again, a lot going on, a lot to watch. Just keep checking back in. Anne Marie, I'm not sure why you're not getting any notifications. Just make sure you didn't turn off your Facebook notifications for Facebook. And if you're not following my page, go ahead and follow and like it just to make sure that you can get notifications that way as well. All right, guys, I am going to end it here on the 7-day, then start making some more updates. You guys are an awesome group. I always appreciate you guys popping in and saying hi. And then just, again, keep an eye on things here. If you can early vote this weekend, that would be a great idea. So we'd love for you to do that just in case it gets sloppy and wet next week. All right, guys, I'll have the full update tonight at 10 on the CW18 and once again at 11 on West 2 News. Have a great weekend and just keep an eye on developments down in the tropics. See you guys.